The main character is Yin, who is currently the director of an interior design company called We Design. Right now, she's on a blind date set up by her family, but from the very first meeting, he was late, which didn't give her a good impression of him at all. She told him straight up that she only had 15 minutes for this date and asked him to introduce himself. He started bragging about being a company president, owning a lot of real estate, and driving supercars. This bored Yin to tears. She told him they probably weren't compatible, and he should find someone else. Then she turned and walked away, making sure to thank him for the coffee. Yin went back to the office, and her employees kept asking her about her blind date, but she just smiled and went into her office. Sandy, an employee of the company, came into the office to tell Yin about the list of intern interviews. Among them was a young man recommended by Yin's younger brother, Yang. This young man was also Yang's top student, so he recommended him to his sister. Because he was recommended by her brother, Yin agreed to participate directly in the intern interview. This is the male lead. His name is Shane. Today, he came to the company for an internship interview. Yang also came to watch his interview today. It seems Yang really likes Sandy, as he gave her a big smile when he saw her. Sandy brought Shane into the interview room. The interview went extremely well for Shane. He clearly stated everything he had learned about the company and Director Yin's management style. Furthermore, he specifically pointed out the company's weaknesses during the recent COVID years. This really impressed Yin, so she decided to offer him the internship position. That evening at dinner, Yin's parents asked her about her blind date. Yin shared that the man had been late right from the start, which made her not want a second date at all. Her mother said it was good to refuse. Her daughter was worth more than that. But she still urged Yin, saying that she was over 30 now and needed to get married soon so she could have grandchildren. She was very eager for that. Meanwhile, Shane received a call from Yang informing him that he got the internship and could start work the next day. The next morning, when Yin arrived at the office, her subordinates informed her of 2 tasks for the day. First, a client, Miss Krata, wasn't satisfied with the design and wanted Yin to fix it immediately, as she had something important coming up the following week. Moreover, Miss Krata was a famous star, and if they didn't satisfy her, the company's reputation would surely suffer. Second, Yin had a meeting that afternoon with a partner company to discuss a collaboration. Yin could only choose one of these tasks to handle immediately. Just then, Shane arrived, so she pulled him along with her to Miss Krata's house to fix the design. As for the partner company meeting, Yin asked Sandy and Champ to assist her. Yin didn't bring Shane along randomly. There was a reason for it. Yin was very impressed with Shane during yesterday's interview, especially after reviewing the weaknesses he had pointed out about the company, which were indeed very accurate. So, Yin thought that bringing Shane along today might help her resolve something. Yin also told him to introduce himself as her assistant in front of the client. Otherwise, the client wouldn't trust a newly hired intern. At Miss Krata's house, the client proved to be very difficult. She wanted to keep the feng shui decorative items in her house, but also wanted a modern and elegant design. Hearing this request, Yin started to get a headache. Yin began to explain to Miss Krata that these feng shui items might not be suitable for her company's design style. If Miss Krata insisted on keeping them, the only option would be to remove them and incorporate them differently. The difficult client flatly refused, saying that these items brought her good luck and couldn't be removed. Shane stepped in to help Yin, starting with the bedroom. He proposed a hypothetical scenario. If they limited the scope of renovations for the upcoming celebrity home tour, show that Krata was filming, they could still meet the deadline. He suggested, as an example, trying to move the feng shui door. As soon as he touched it, it fell off. Seeing this, the difficult client refused to let them continue working and went out, slamming the door. Yin was standing right in front of the door, so when the client slammed it, Yin got hit in the face. Shane helped her up and got some ice to reduce the swelling. Just then, Krata's boyfriend arrived home and immediately embraced and kissed her. When his eyes met Yin's, both of them froze. The reason for this was that they used to be in a relationship. His name was Man, and they started dating when Yin was in high school. Their love was beautiful until he went to study abroad in Canada. He told Yin to wait for him to return, and he would definitely marry her. But now, seeing his affectionate display with the difficult client, it was clear that he and Krati were about to get married. No one waits forever. The difficult client had been complaining to her boyfriend about how Yin and Shane refused to modify the design according to her requests and kept insisting she move her feng shui items. Man, in a doting manner, comforted her. Shane finally spoke up, offering a solution that would satisfy both sides. The design company would work with Krata's feng shui consultant and then revise the design accordingly. This solution satisfied both Kraytae and her boyfriend. Having offered the solution, Yin excused herself and left. Yin's mood seemed quite down. She even invited Shane to go drinking with her. After only a few drinks, she was completely drunk, asking him all sorts of rambling questions. She asked if he had a girlfriend and what his type was. He replied that he had a girlfriend once, but they had broken up. Now, his type was older women. He liked mature, successful, and confident women. This description perfectly matched Yin, the woman over 30 who possessed all the qualities he admired. Seeing that Yin was very drunk and starting to ramble even more, he thought about taking her home. But Yin said she didn't want to go home tonight, and that she would sleep there because Shane had promised to take care of her. Shane couldn't understand when he had ever promised to take care of her. He was so flustered he could barely speak. The next morning, Yin woke up in a strange place. She couldn't remember what had happened. She was currently wearing a man's shirt. While she was in a state of bewildered confusion, Shane came out of the bathroom, naked. Yin screamed and threw all the pillows on the bed at him, demanding to know what he had done to her last night. Shane quickly explained that because she hadn't wanted to go home last night, he had brought her here. As for her clothes, she had vomited on them after drinking too much, so he had given her his shirt to wear. Yin pressed him again, wanting to be absolutely sure that nothing had happened between them last night. Shane smiled and told her that something had happened, and moreover, she had been the one to initiate it. But Shane, being a decent guy, said he would take full responsibility for his actions. Embarrassed, Yin couldn't bear to continue the conversation and rushed to change into her clothes and leave, but not before reminding Shane not to be late for work. This woman was truly obsessed with punctuality. Yin returned home and, after checking to make sure no one was inside, entered cautiously. But she had barely taken a few steps when her mother emerged from the kitchen, asking where she had been last night. Yin stammered, saying it was nothing. Her younger brother, Yang, assumed, as always, that she had just slept over at her close friend Sei's house, because someone like her would never sleep with a guy. That's what her brother thought. But in reality, Yin had officially slept with a guy last night. Yin lied to her mother, saying that she had been too drunk and had slept at her friend's house. Her mother believed her because Yin had never been involved with any men before. Her mother was even worried she would become an old maid. During the meal, her mother introduced her to another son of a friend for a blind date. Yin tried to refuse, but without success. Yin arrived at work, but she couldn't focus. Her mind kept wandering back to Shane. She was still wondering how far things had gone between them the night before. Just then, Shane startled her by handing her a cup of coffee. At that moment, Yin also had something she wanted to tell him. She said that last night was a complete mistake, and they should pretend it never happened. She would put the memory behind her. But he didn't accept that. He couldn't just forget her so easily, especially since she had been the one to initiate things. While they were talking, Sandy walked in. Yin quickly pushed a stack of files toward Shane and put on an act. She told him that if he was ever late again, she would fail him for his internship. Shane played along, bowing his head and apologizing. After giving Yin the documents, Sandy left. Only Yin and Shane remained in the room. They resumed their unfinished conversation. Shane insisted on acknowledging what happened between them and wanted to take responsibility by dating her. Yin said he was crazy. The age gap between them was too big. She was 38, and he was only 23, a 15-year difference. But a little age gap didn't deter Shane. He still wanted to date her. Yin felt overwhelmed by this sudden development. It was too fast and unconventional. They hadn't gotten to know each other. They didn't know each other's strengths or weaknesses. She rejected him. Shane then proposed a new solution. If she felt it was too much, they could try dating for 3 months, as a trial period to get to know each other before officially dating. Yin told her close friend, Sa, about this. Sa jumped for joy upon hearing that her friend had a boyfriend. Yin even showed Sa Shane's profile, just by looking at the ID photo attached to the paper. Sa was captivated by his good looks. Finally, a handsome guy had come into Yin's life. Sa told Yin to quickly seize this opportunity and date him. It would surely be fun. At the mall, while Shane and Yin were shopping, Yin spotted her younger brother. She quickly handed her credit card to Shane, telling him to buy whatever he wanted. Then she hurried over to her brother, afraid that he would see her with Shane, the intern, and things would get complicated. That evening, Shane texted Yin, asking to video call. He also sent a picture of himself holding her credit card, saying he wouldn't return it if she didn't answer. Yin, while calling him childish, started putting on makeup to prepare for the video call. After talking with Shane, Yin's heart was fluttering. It seemed she was developing feelings for the younger man. The next day, while Shane was chatting with Yang in his room, Mint texted him. asking him to help her film a TikTok video. Shane enthusiastically agreed. After filming, Mint invited him to lunch, but he declined, saying he had something to do. Actually, Mint was Shane's classmate, and she had a crush on him. She wanted to create opportunities to spend more time with him, but it seemed like this attempt had failed. Meanwhile, the second male lead was at a studio watching a model's photo shoot. Seeing the male model's somewhat unprofessional posing, he stepped in and demonstrated a few poses, resulting in several photos even better than the models. The photographer was very pleased with his work. This second male lead's name is Ray, a highly successful businessman, currently single because he hasn't found the right person. He has a niece named Mint. After finishing his work, Ray went to pick Mint up from school. Seeing his student hugging an older man like that, Yang mistakenly thought Ray was her sugar daddy. Ray dotes on his niece, even gifting her an apartment near her school for her birthday for convenience. Rich people certainly spend money differently. At the company, Shane, with a cake in one hand and flowers in the other, caused a stir. He called Yin over, gave her the flowers, and to avoid suspicion about their ambiguous relationship, claimed that the flowers were from Yin's younger brother. Yin took the flowers back to her office. Shane shared the cake he bought with everyone in the company, but not before setting aside a special portion for Yin. Actually, Yin knew very well that Shane had bought the flowers for her. Her brother wasn't so affectionate as to send her flowers for no reason. Yin told Shane not to be so obvious in front of everyone at the company, as it would arouse suspicion. But Shane said this was his way of showing his affection for her, and since he was currently pursuing her, it was perfectly normal. He then pleaded with her, using his adorable puppy dog eyes, to have dinner with him. Looking at his handsome and endearing face, who could refuse? Yin agreed to go with him, but only to a restaurant far from the company, to avoid the prying eyes of their colleagues. Yin's girlish heart did a little hip-hop dance. After work, Yin and Shane went shopping and took pictures together. They enjoyed their time together immensely. This was the first time in Yin's life that she had so much fun with someone of the opposite sex, especially a younger man. That evening, as they sat in the car saying goodbye, Shane received a call from Mint. She wanted to meet and talk to him at the upcoming graduation ceremony. Yin pretended not to care, but she was practically glued to his phone, trying to eavesdrop. He asked her if she was jealous, but Yin denied it. Shane gave her an affectionate smile and said goodnight before returning to his apartment. This adorable guy made Yin incredibly flustered. Meanwhile, after calling Shane, Mint went inside and called for Cupid, her Uncle Ray's dog. They searched the house but couldn't find him. It seemed the dog was lost. The next morning, while Yin and her father were jogging in the park, they found Cupid wandering around. Yin checked the dog's collar but only found his name tag, no phone number. So she decided to take him home. However, her mother was allergic to dog fur and started sneezing uncontrollably because of Cupid. Yin had no choice but to bring the dog to the office and ask her employees to look after him. Yin asked Shane to post a lost dog notice so she could put it up around the park, hoping to find the owner. Meanwhile, Ray was anxiously searching for Cupid. He scrolled through online lost pet groups, hoping to find a post about him, but to no avail. So he asked his assistant to print 100 flyers about Cupid, offering a 50,000 baht reward to anyone who found him. After dealing with the dog situation, his assistant informed him about his afternoon schedule, a meeting with We Design. But Ray was in no mood to work. He was worried sick about Cupid. Meanwhile, Yin was posting lost dog notices around her neighborhood. As soon as she finished putting one up, she turned around and bumped right into Shane. He said he wanted to follow her because he was worried that someone might see her phone number on the flyer and try to harm her. Yin told him she was old enough to take care of herself and that he didn't need to secretly follow her like that. Shane cheekily replied that if she didn't want him to secretly follow her, she should just date him, and then he could follow her openly. Before Yin could respond, her eyes landed on a lost dog flyer on the side of the road. She ran over to take a closer look and realized it was Cupid. Yin sat by the lake and called the number on the flyer. Ray was overjoyed to receive the call and immediately rushed to the location. Upon arriving, Ray didn't look very trustworthy to Yin. She worried she was giving Cupid to the wrong person. What if he sold him? Ray had to convince her, showing her a picture he had taken with Cupid, calling Cupid his son, and referring to himself as dad. Only then did Yin trust him enough to hand Cupid over. Ray thanked her profusely and asked for her bank account number to transfer the 50,000 baht reward he had promised on the flyer. Yin initially refused, saying she didn't need the money and simply wanted to find the dog's owner. But Ray insisted, saying he would feel guilty and indebted otherwise. Yin finally gave him her account number. He thanked her happily and took Cupid home. The next day, a meeting took place between We Design and Lima Production. Yin arrived to meet the chairman of the partner company, and, coincidentally, it was Ray. The meeting went smoothly, and Ray was very impressed with Yin's professionalism. He couldn't stop smiling. Meanwhile, Sandy was gushing to her colleagues about how well Yin and Ray looked together, both being single, and how Ray seemed to really like Yin. Overhearing this, Shane approached and asked for more information about this Ray. Champ filled him in on Ray's impressive profile. Chairman of Lima, handsome, talented, and currently single. Shane thought to himself that he now had another competitor. At school, Mint went to Yang's office to give him her final demo for feedback. Yang told her that the piece was decent but a bit wordy, so he would keep it for now. He gave Mint a USB drive containing work from previous students and suggested she use it as a reference. Sensing that Yang might be interested in her, Mint told her friends about this. They advised her to stay away from him, as he had a reputation for being a playboy. In truth, Mint wasn't very interested in Yang because she already had someone in her heart, Shane. In the company's file room, Yin was retrieving some documents when she turned around and found Shane standing there. He jealously asked her about Chairman Ray, wanting to know what she thought of him. Yin replied that he was a capable and successful man, but what she thought was none of his business. Shane told her he was serious about liking her and asked if she would go out with him. Yin listed the reasons why they wouldn't work, from their age difference to the fact that he was her intern. How could a director date an intern? Before she could finish, Shane pressed his lips against hers, giving her a quick kiss. Even though it was just a fleeting kiss, it was enough to make Yin blush. She pushed him away and left the room. That evening at Ray's house, his niece, Mint, noticed that he was in a particularly good mood and that the food he cooked for her even included heart shapes. She was certain he was hiding something good from her. Ray couldn't fool his niece. He shared with Mint that he had met a woman who was exactly his type, from her appearance and work style to her confident demeanor. The woman he was referring to was none other than Yin. The next day, when Yin arrived at the office, she found a huge bouquet of roses on her desk. The employees were all impressed and curious about who had made such a grand gesture. Yin picked up the card and saw that it was from Ray. The employees were in awe that their director had received flowers from the chairman of a partner company, but one person was burning with jealousy, Shane. Actually, Ray sent Yin the flowers as an excuse to see her again. He claimed that Cupid hadn't eaten anything since returning home from her house. They talked about Cupid, which led to a conversation about both of them being single. Ray asked if she had met anyone she liked yet. Yin said she had met someone, but there were too many differences between them, so she hadn't pursued it further. It seemed she was talking about Shane. After listening to Yin, Ray advised her that if the differences were too significant, she should find someone more compatible. But if the differences still allowed her to feel comfortable and happy, she should give that person a chance. They continued eating and chatting. The next day, Shane was at his university, meeting the incoming freshmen. He congratulated them on passing the entrance exam and getting into their desired program. Mint, who had liked him for a long time, planned to confess her feelings to him in front of everyone, but she was too shy and almost backed out. Her friend, seeing her hesitate, pulled her back to where Shane was and announced that Mint had something to say. Mint began her confession, but before she could say she loved him, Shane rejected her. He said he only saw her as a younger sister and that he already liked someone else. Shane turned and left, leaving Mint heartbroken. That evening, Shane and Yin went to a dinner party with Yin's friends. Seeing Shane's handsome face and how well his outfit matched hers, Yin was stunned for a moment. Shane took her hand, and they entered the party together. Shane led her to the table with her friends, while he went to the buffet line. He could overhear Yin's friends discussing him, commenting on how young he was, and that he was 15 years younger than her. While getting food, Shane ran into Yin's ex-boyfriend, Man. Man made some unpleasant remarks about Yin, saying she overthought everything and took things too seriously, which was why they weren't compatible. Hearing someone speak ill of Yin, Shane immediately fired back, telling Man to stay away from her because he didn't want her to dwell on the past with someone like him. Man retorted that Yin must be desperate to lower herself to date a snot-nosed kid like Shane. He continued to provoke Shane, poking him in the chest and grabbing his collar. Annoyed, Shane pushed him away, and Man dramatically fell to the ground, attracting the attention of everyone at the party. Yin rushed over, apologized to Man, and pulled Shane aside to talk. Yin told Shane that she hadn't brought him there to cause trouble. Shane explained that Man had grabbed his collar, and he had simply pushed his hand away, but Man had overreacted. Furthermore, Man had been saying bad things about her, and Shane was just trying to defend her. She replied that whatever man said to belittle her was none of Shane's business, and he didn't need to defend her. Shane, feeling hurt, said that he must have overstepped and quickly left. Yin, feeling upset, returned to the party. After the party, as Yin was leaving to get her car, she saw Shane waiting for her. Her face brightened, and she walked towards him. Despite being upset with her, Shane couldn't bear to let her go home alone late at night. He apologized for his behavior at the party, and for not being able to earn her trust. Shane promised to keep his distance from her from now on, and not bother her anymore. He suggested having one last meal together the next day, as a farewell. But Yin refused. She said it wouldn't be their last meal, because she agreed to try being his girlfriend for 3 months. Shane's heart bloomed like a garden. The next day, Shane went to work in high spirits. Seeing Yin making coffee, he approached her. Wanting to keep their relationship a secret at work, Yin maintained her distance. She called him into her office to inform him that she wouldn't be able to attend the welcome dinner for the new interns that evening because she had a date with Ray. He wanted to thank her for finding Cupid. Shane didn't want her to go, but he couldn't do anything about it. He asked if he could go with her and just wait in the car. Yin said he could wait in her car, but Ray was picking her up that night, so it wouldn't do him any good. Shane, feeling defeated, decided not to follow Yin, but reminded her to text him when she got home. He waited anxiously for her message. A while later, Ray arrived at Yin's company to pick her up for dinner. After Yin left, her colleagues gossiped about how perfect Ray and Yin were together. A true power couple. But one person sat there dejected, Shane. He was incredibly jealous of Ray. That evening, the employees went out for drinks together. Everyone was enjoying themselves, except for Shane, who was physically present but mentally preoccupied with Yin. He kept checking his phone, waiting for her text. Throughout the dinner, his focus wasn't on the food or drinks, but on Yin. After dinner, Ray drove Yin home. Yin's mother was waiting outside. Seeing her daughter with another potential boyfriend, she immediately started chatting with him, even telling him to call her Mom. She invited Ray to have dinner with their family next time. It seemed Yin's entire family was eager for her to get married. Her mother advised her to open her heart and not let the right person slip away. Yin pondered her mother's words. Yin texted Shane to let him know she was home. Upon receiving her text, Shane quickly excused himself from the gathering and called her. He asked her how her date went. Yin replied that it was just normal. A few dates weren't enough to make her heart flutter. Hearing this, Shane recalled the first time he met her. It was a morning at his university. She was a guest speaker invited by Yang. From that first encounter on campus, Shane had been smitten with her. And when he learned that Yang was only Yin's younger brother, he was even more delighted. That's why, among so many companies offering internships, Shane chose Yin's company, even though she had a reputation for being demanding. Back on the phone, Yin reminded Shane to finish up with his colleagues and get home to rest. He wished her good night and was about to blow her a kiss when she hung up. After the call, Yin couldn't stop smiling at Shane's sweet words. The next morning, Shane arrived at the office early and encountered a flower delivery man. It turned out the flowers were from Ray for Yin. Shane told the delivery man that Yin's office was locked and that he could leave the bouquet on the last desk. After the delivery man left, and while he was alone in the office, Shane went over to the flowers and read the card, which contained a good morning message. He took the card and threw it away. Just then, the other employees started arriving. Sandy, at her desk, saw the roses but no card. She assumed someone had sent them to her. Looking at the two men in the office, Champ and Shane, she ruled out Champ because they bickered like cats and dogs. That left only Shane. Thinking that Shane had sent her the flowers, Sandy couldn't stop smiling. Over the next few days, Ray continued sending flowers to Yin every morning, but Shane kept placing them on Sandy's desk and discarding the cards. This led Sandy to believe that Shane liked her, but was too stubborn to admit it. At lunchtime, seeing Yin engrossed in her work and forgetting to eat, Shane bought her lunch and brought it to her office. He hesitated and confessed to Yin that the flowers Sandy had been receiving were actually from Ray. For her, Yin just smiled and told him he didn't need to feel guilty because she already knew. Ray had called her that morning saying he'd been sending her flowers every morning, but she hadn't received them. Yin guessed Shane was behind it. Yin said if she were in his shoes, she would have done the same thing. Shane was very happy that Yin was still happy with him, but he still didn't know how to handle Sandy misunderstanding that he liked her. Yin advised him to talk to Sandy and explain as soon as possible, and to have a private conversation with her, to avoid embarrassing and hurting her if other people heard. Shane listened to Yin and understood what he needed to do next to clear up the misunderstanding. A week had passed, and Mint still hadn't come to school. Because of her confession to Shane in front of everyone, Her classmates were making fun of her for being rejected. Uncle Ray noticed Mint's absence and asked why she wasn't at school. She told him everything. Uncle Ray advised her that if it wasn't her fault, why hide? He said someone like her, who dares to think and act, who expresses her feelings, is admirable. But Mint still didn't want to deal with the teasing at school anymore. So Uncle Ray gave her a solution, an internship. It would help her learn new things and gain experience. Mint happily agreed. At school, Mr. Yang called Mint's two best friends into his office to ask why Mint hadn't been coming to school. They told him about Mint confessing her feelings to Shane and getting rejected because Shane already had a girlfriend who was older than him. They also told Mr. Yang that Mint was being teased because of the rejection, which is why she wasn't going to school. They asked Mr. Yang, since he knew Shane, if he could talk to him. Mr. Yang understood the situation and agreed to talk to Shane about it later. Meanwhile, Ray was invited to dinner at Yin's house. Yin's mom treated him like family. She kept trying to set Yin up with him. Yin kept saying that she and Ray were just friends and nothing more was going on. But her mom kept pushing, saying that since Ray was single, they could think about dating. After dinner, it was just Yin and Ray. She apologized to him for her mom trying to set them up so much. She was worried he'd be uncomfortable with her family. But Ray said it was okay. He said that if her mom thought they were dating, she wouldn't try to find someone else for her. And Yin wouldn't have to worry about her mom anymore. Yin thought that was a good idea, and she smiled and thanked him. Meanwhile, Yang was watching a movie with Yin when he showed her a picture Shane had posted. The picture showed Shane's hand holding another woman's hand. Yang said that hand looked too wrinkled to belong to a student, so it must be someone who worked at Yin's company. This made Yin nervous, because that hand belonged to her. Yang confided in Yin that the girl who confessed her feelings to Shane was so upset. She stopped going to school because of this picture, and he wanted her advice on what to do. Yin advised him to talk to the girl and comfort her, because what she was going through wasn't easy at all. She was probably very heartbroken. After hearing Yin's advice, Yang understood what to do next. He didn't forget to tell Yin to let him know if she had any information about the woman Shane was dating. Yin looked at her own hand. The person Yang was looking for was her. Right there, so close. The next morning, Yin was walking in the park when she ran into Shane. Seeing that she looked upset, he asked her what was wrong. Yin told him to give her his phone. She opened the picture of the two hands holding each other and asked him why he let Yang see it. Shane quickly grabbed his phone and fixed it, explaining that a younger student had confessed her feelings to him, but he already liked someone else, so he posted the picture to show her that he was taken. Yin told Shane that even if he didn't like the other girl, he didn't need to hurt her feelings like that. Yin also reminded Shane to be more careful about keeping their relationship private. If Yang found out, it would be a big problem. Shane happily agreed and promised that from now on, he would ask his girlfriend's opinion before doing anything. This playful comment from Shane made Yin completely forget her anger. They laughed and talked happily again. The next day at school, Yang saw Mint laughing and talking, with her arm around an older man. He thought Mint was a sugar baby. Yang called Mint over and told her that if she had any financial difficulties, she should tell him, and he would find a way to help her, so she didn't need to do anything shameful. Mint didn't understand what Yang meant by shameful, but she nodded in agreement. Mint's family was wealthy enough to buy the entire school, so she didn't need Yang's help. Meanwhile, Shane and Yin were on a date at the mall, sitting in a cafe. Yin gave Shane a dating contract with specific terms, such as Shane not being allowed to post about Yin on social media without her permission, not hugging or kissing her in public, and many other clauses. Not being able to be affectionate with Yin felt a little strange to Shane. They were clearly dating, but he still agreed to sign the contract to please her. Then they went to see a movie. At the end of the date, Shane asked Yin if he could leave first. Just then, Yin's phone rang. It was Ray. He wanted to ask her out to Yinner to ask a favor. Yin agreed and went to the restaurant Ray had chosen. Ray wanted Yin to give his niece, who was studying interior design, an internship at her company. Ray explained that his niece had recently gone through a breakup and had lost interest in her studies. So he came up with the internship idea. Yin happily agreed to help his niece and told him to send her niece's resume to the company. She would approve it. The next day at school, after everyone else had left, Mint went in to give her internship journal to Yang. Then she left. Later, Shane came in. Yang asked Shane if anything seemed unusual about Yin lately, specifically if she was especially close to any man at the company. Shane had to lie and say that no one was particularly close to Yin. Yang also asked Shane to keep an eye on Yin at work to see if she was seeing anyone. Back at the company, A bouquet of flowers appeared in Yin's office. She thought it was from Ray and texted him to thank him, but it turned out to be from Shane. He also asked to meet her later in the document room. The feeling of a secret romance at work was more exciting than Yin had imagined. At lunchtime, everyone went to eat, leaving Yin alone. She went to the document room waiting for Shane, but when he arrived, she played hard to get, saying she was there to look for documents, not to wait for him. Lately, Shane had a habit of smelling Yin's perfume, and he did it again. Yin pushed him away, but he wouldn't move. Just then, they heard a knock on the door. An employee needed some documents from the room. Yin stalled by helping the employee find the documents. Then she shoved Shane into a hidden corner. Yin opened the door, gave the documents to the employee, and the employee quickly left. Back in the office, Yin received a call from the chairman. He scolded her for the lack of significant improvement in revenue over the past 3 months, saying that if she didn't improve the company's performance, he would restructure the company. Yin was intimidated by the chairman's scowl. Ying, the female employee, and Shane overheard the entire conversation. They told Yin that if she needed any help, she should just ask. The three of them started going through all the documents from the past year to analyze the situation and come up with a new plan. It was late, and only Yin and Shane remained at the office. He went into her office and gave her a massage to help her relax. Yin talked to him about his plans after his internship. She said that she really saw his potential and hoped he would continue working at the company after his internship. Just as Shane was about to kiss her, his phone rang, ruining the romantic moment. After the call, Shane said he had an urgent matter and had to leave. Yin offered to drive him home, but he refused. Yin was a little disappointed and wondered who he was meeting that was so urgent, so she decided to follow him. She saw Shane laughing and talking happily with a mature woman. The woman even patted his chin. Yin felt a little jealous. Suddenly, a hand covered Yin's mouth. It was Sandy, who had also been following Shane. Sandy told Yin that she thought Shane liked her, so she tried to investigate whether he had a girlfriend, and it turned out that he did, the mature woman. Sandy asked Yin what she was doing there. Yin stammered a lie, saying she was just going to her younger brother's house in the neighborhood. With nothing else to say, Sandy said goodbye and left. Yin called Shane and asked what he was doing. He said he was finishing up work assigned by Champ. Hearing him lie, Yin got angry and went home. The next morning, Shane brought her coffee, but she was still mad at him. The company had a meeting that day. Yin announced that the company would be restructuring soon, but she promised that as long as she was the director, no one would be laid off. She also wanted to discuss trying to convince upper management to speed up the collaboration with Lima Company. Shane offered a suggestion. Since the company's revenue hadn't improved since the COVID pandemic, he thought that in addition to large companies, We Design could collaborate with small and medium-sized businesses to get more potential clients, which would bring in more money. Yin didn't deny his idea, but she said that finding and contacting small and medium-sized businesses wasn't as easy as he said. Those companies usually work with companies they already know. Shane said he would prove to Yin that he could do what he said. At the company, Sandy asked Shane if he had a girlfriend, so she could finally move on. Shane frankly admitted that he did have a girlfriend, and that he loved her very much. He apologized if he had done anything to mislead Sandy. Sandy was heartbroken again, and went drinking with a friend to drown her sorrows. At the bar, she ran into Champ. What a coincidence. Champ's friends saw Sandy, and commented on how many times she'd been heartbroken that year, asking how such a capable woman couldn't find someone. Champ defended Sandy, and his friend suggested he should ask her out, saying that heartbroken women are easily swayed, and this was a good opportunity for him. Champ just smiled and said nothing. The next day, Shane brought Yin documents about small and medium-sized businesses that could be potential partners for the company. Yin was surprised that he, as an intern, had access to such valuable information. Shane simply replied that he got it from an acquaintance. He also reminded her about their dinner date that night. Outside, he saw Champ standing at Sandy's desk. He had left a cactus, a bottle of water, and some pills. Shane advised Champ not to give a cactus to someone he liked, because it was too impersonal. He should do something more romantic and practical. Most importantly, he had to show that he liked her. Only then would she notice. Champ took notice of Shane's advice, replaced the cactus with a light breakfast for Sandy. As the saying goes, the shortest path to love is through the stomach, and it was true. Sandy came to work with a headache from the previous night's drinking. She found headache medicine and breakfast on her desk. She looked at the only two men in the office. It couldn't be Shane, since he'd admitted to having a girlfriend, so it had to be Champ. She looked at him, and then at what he'd prepared for her, and she smiled happily. Meanwhile, Yin met Ray at a cafe to get some advice from a successful businessman. Yin told him that an intern at her company was proposing a plan to cooperate with small and medium-sized businesses to expand the market and reach more clients. But she was worried about her company's supply chain and competition with other companies. Ray understood the problem her company was facing. He said that if that was the case, her company should focus on exclusive designs, and his company would support her in creating those exclusive designs at a lower price than the market rate. Yin thanked him profusely for providing such an optimal solution. Ray offered to take her to dinner, but Yin remembered her prior date with Shane and politely declined, promising to treat him to a meal another time. Ray happily agreed. At the mall, Yin and Shane were walking hand in hand when Shane received a call from Yang. Yang didn't recognize the person with Shane and his sister. Yin heard that her brother was about to arrive and quickly left before being discovered. When Yang arrived, only Shane was there. Yang invited him to dinner, unintentionally disrupting Shane and Yin's date. While talking to Shane, Yang asked about his girlfriend, but Shane refused to reveal her identity. He said that he and his girlfriend had made a pact. If they were still together after 3 months, he would introduce her to Yang. Yang couldn't have imagined that the woman Shane was referring to was a member of his own family. That evening, Yin called her close friend Sa to say that she still hadn't found out anything about Shane's family background. Sa, judging by Shane's appearance, thought he was very well off. He wore designer clothes and lived alone, not with his parents. Sa concluded that he might be a kept man. Yin wasn't sure how to respond to her friend's theory. Just then, Shane texted Yin, saying that their date had been ruined by Yang and that he would make it up to her the next day. He suggested that to avoid another interruption by someone they knew, they should meet at his place. Yin was still curious about Shane's real family background and his personality. She wanted to see if he really was as Sa described. Yin immediately agreed to go to Shane's house. He then sent her a very attractive picture of himself. Seeing his six-pack abs photo, Yin was completely smitten. Yang, watching from outside, saw his sister hugging a stuffed animal and whispering to it. He found it strange. He thought his sister might have fallen in love. The next morning, seeing Yin dressed beautifully and preparing to go out, Yang suspected she was going out with her boyfriend. He tried to unlock Yin's phone to investigate, but couldn't get the passcode. Just then, Yin turned around. He stopped what he was doing and lied to his sister, saying he just wanted to borrow her phone to watch a movie. Yin's plan to hack into his sister's phone failed, so Yang decided to ask Mint for help. He told Mint that the director at the company where she'll be interning soon is his sister, and that she's been acting very suspiciously lately. So he wanted Mint to keep an eye on the director during her internship at We Design, to find out who the man she's been thinking about day and night is. The next day, Yin's mom and Yin went for a walk in the park and accidentally ran into Ray. Ray politely greeted Yin's mom and called her Aunt. Yin's mom really likes Ray and really wants him to be her son-in-law. She even told Ray to start calling her Mom to get used to it. She invited Ray to have dinner at her house. Ray happily accepted. At the dinner table, Yang was looking at Ray with a very suspicious look because he thought Ray was Mint's sugar daddy. Yang had absolutely no idea that Ray was actually Mint's uncle. In a quiet corner of the office, Shane and Yin were talking. Shane invited Yin to dinner that night. Before Yin could answer, Ray appeared. Yin and Shane quickly separated, each looking in a different direction. Ray also wanted to invite Yin to dinner. Yin tried to refuse, saying she was busy, but she couldn't because Ray had cleverly checked Yin's schedule with her assistant beforehand and knew she was free. Furthermore, Ray said he wanted to discuss with her the question she'd asked him earlier about Yin's company Expand, Ying its partnerships with smaller companies. Shane, meanwhile, was incredibly jealous of Ray, but couldn't interrupt them. After Ray left, Shane reminded Yin to text him when she got back from dinner. Yin happily agreed. The sight of the two lovebirds laughing and talking together caught Mint's eye, making her suspicious of their relationship. At dinner, Ray was discussing business with Yin. He told her to confidently pursue partnerships and expand into new markets, offering his full support if she encountered any problems. Meanwhile, at home, Shane was anxiously waiting for a text from Yin. Then, Yin called, letting him know she was outside. Yin arrived with a pile of takeout food, explaining that she'd promised Shane dinner and couldn't break her promise. Seeing Yin's care for him made Shane incredibly happy. The next morning, Shane was the first one to arrive at the company. He saw Ray's bag of pastries delivered for Yin and decided to take the accompanying note and throw it away. Sandy arrived at the office to find the pastries on her desk. She looked around the room. Shane was the only one there, so she mistakenly thought he'd given them to her. In the company-wide meeting, Yin announced to all the employees that they absolutely had to win this bid. She explained that the client's style was a blend of classic and modern, and asked everyone to send her any ideas they had. After the meeting, Shane stayed behind with Yin, inviting her to a movie. But Yin was completely preoccupied with work and didn't have time for a movie. At school, Yang saw Mint getting out of a luxury car. He followed her to talk. He advised her again that if she had any financial difficulties, she could talk to him. He could help her or assist in applying for a scholarship, instead of doing what she was doing. He still thought Mint was a sugar baby. Mint was confused by Yang's words. She'd never needed money in her life, and she didn't understand why Yang kept offering her financial assistance. That evening, Yang entered Yin's bedroom and told her he knew who her boyfriend was and why she was hiding him. Yin was worried. She didn't understand how her brother found out, as she'd been very secretive. But when Yang said it was Ray, a huge weight lifted off her shoulders. Yang added that she was high-wying Ray because he was a sugar daddy. Yin completely denied Yang's words, saying that nothing was going on between her and Ray. They had only recently met, and she was asking for his help with work. Without letting Yang say more, Yin pushed him out of the room. The next day's meeting at We Design was tense. The team's ideas lacked originality, so Yin demanded they focus intensely to come up with something fresh and innovative. After the meeting, Shane stayed behind with Yin, suggesting they go out to distress and find inspiration for the project. Initially, Yin wasn't keen, but the idea of finding new inspiration appealed to her, so she agreed. Shane took her out to admire the scenery, and then they went to pray, finally ending up at a cafe. Shane hadn't chosen the location by chance. Opposite their cafe was the apartment building their company was bidding on. Shane analyzed the building's architecture and historical context for Yin, presenting her with a completely new and fresh design idea. Yin was incredibly impressed by her boyfriend. She was truly proud of him. The next day, Yin shared the entire idea with all the company employees, making sure to give Shane full credit in front of everyone. After seeing the fresh new idea, all the employees got down to work. Everyone was busy and enthusiastic about this project. At school, Mint's two close friends were turning in their final project to Yang. He asked them how Mint's internship at the company was going. The girl spoke up, saying that he shouldn't worry so much, because even if Mint didn't graduate from college, she'd have more than enough money to last a lifetime. This made Yang suspect that his student, Mint, was a sugar baby. He asked if they weren't going to try and stop her from doing that. The two friends looked at each other, confused. Stop what? Yang clarified. You know, the being a kept woman thing. The girl explained that the person who often picked Mint up and dropped her off at school was her uncle. They were uncle and niece. Finally, Yang understood. It was all a misunderstanding. Mint wasn't a sugar baby like he thought. The following day, the whole company was waiting for the results. Finally, Yin announced that the company had won the bid. Everyone cheered. Yin said she'd treat the whole company to a well-deserved celebratory drink. In her office, Yin was calling Ray to thank him. She said the best project wouldn't mean anything without someone to help negotiate, and invited him to Yinner to show her gratitude. Hanging up, she turned around to see Shane standing in her office. Yin explained that she was just being polite to someone who had contributed to the project. Shane replied that she should be thanking the team, not outsiders. Seeing Shane's jealous look after she'd invited Ray to Yinner, Yin tried to appease him. She suggested they go get dessert together after the company celebration, but he turned her down, saying he had other plans that night. Outside, Mint noticed that Shane had gone into Yin's office a while ago and hadn't come out yet. She asked the other employees about it, and they told her that Shane was very capable. So Yin had high hopes for him. Mint wondered if they were dating, since they seemed to be always making eyes at each other. The other employees didn't believe Yin and Shane could be dating. They thought Yin wouldn't be interested in someone so much younger, and dismissed the idea. At Ray's place, he was asking his assistant, Sue, to investigate who had negotiated for We Design. Even before he got involved, he reasoned that even with a great project, they wouldn't have won the bid so quickly without a skilled negotiator. And it wasn't him. So, who was behind the scenes helping Yin? At the bar, the entire We Design company was celebrating winning the bid. In the restroom, Mint asked Yin if she was dating Shane, even showing her two photos of them with identical backgrounds. Yin explained that while she and Shane had been together, it was work-related. Shane wanted to show her a classic design idea. Yin added that while Shane liked older people, she wasn't the one, and showed Mint a picture she'd sneakily taken of Shane with another woman. Yin suggested they team up to find out who this woman was. She wanted to be sure if Shane was really a kept man, as her best friend had suggested. The next day at the mall, Yin and Mint spotted Shane with the same woman. The two girls approached them, pretending it was a chance encounter. Yin introduced herself to the woman as the director of the company where Shane was interning. The woman politely introduced herself as Pin, Shane's stepmother. Pin congratulated Yin on winning the bid, leaving Yin bewildered as to how Pin knew about her company's business. Pin explained that she worked at SAID, and Shane had asked her to keep an eye on We Design, so she had helped negotiate for Yin's company. Yin finally realized that it was Shane's stepmother, not Ray, who had helped her negotiate the winning bid. Yin profusely thanked Pin for her assistance in securing the project. In the evening, Yin took Min back to her place. Min then confided in her, wondering why Shane had chosen a small company like We Design for his internship when he could have interned at his stepmother's company. Min wasn't trying to put We Design down, but she still didn't understand why Shane was so determined to choose Yin's company. After hearing Min's question, Yin realized she had the same viewpoint. Thinking that she should ask Sen about this, Yin said goodbye to Min and immediately went to Shane's house to see him. Yin said to him, "Why didn't you tell me about your family background? I've always thought that you dressed in designer clothes because you were a gigolo or something." Sen replied that it wasn't important, so he hadn't told her. Yin countered, "How is it not important? If we're going to be serious, then we should know basic things about each other, like our families, friends, and social circles." Hearing Yin say this, Sen felt that she might be in love with him and was serious about being with him. He happily agreed to tell her everything about himself, bringing up the first night when Yin was drunk at his place. He mustered the courage to confess what actually happened that night. Actually, when Yin hugged him, he was the one who initiated the kiss, and then she passed out immediately. That meant there hadn't been any physical contact between them. Yin scolded him for not telling her that sooner, because she had been thinking that she had lost her virginity. Shane replied that he did it on purpose so he could be with her longer. Even until now. If that hadn't happened, then she probably wouldn't have paid any attention to a trainee like him. The next morning, Shane brought documents into Yin's private office. Before he left, Yin thoughtfully offered him a cup of coffee she had prepared. Shane happily took it and went back to his desk to drink it, looking like he was really enjoying the coffee. But then Mint caught him. Mint had witnessed the tender moment of Yin giving Shane the coffee, which further convinced her that the two of them were dating. In the afternoon, Mint went to school to find Yang, to share the clues she had observed at the company between Yin and Shane. Seeing Yang in the distance, Mint was about to approach him when her two best friends got there first. Her two friends asked her how her internship was going. Mint quickly replied that the internship was going great, then excused herself to go see Yang. Mint told him that the person who was dating Yin was Shane. Naturally, Yang laughed, not believing it. But then Mint mentioned that she saw Yin personally hand Shane a coffee that morning. Yang said that was unacceptable. He'd rather have Yin date Ray. What were these two up to now? Yang invited Mint to his place for dinner that night. At the dinner table, Mint and Yang started talking about Yin's love life. Actually, she didn't love Ray like her parents thought, but she loved another man. Mint tried to highlight Ray's good qualities to score points with Yin's parents, hoping they would continue to push Yin and Ray together. The next morning, while the Yin family was having breakfast, Yang accidentally mentioned that Mint had come over to talk about Yin's love life. Her mother told Yin that if she was seeing someone, she should bring him home to meet her parents. At least if her mother didn't approve, she would tell her to break up. Yin wasn't sure about her relationship with Shane yet. She was afraid that people would disapprove of the age gap between them, so she decided to talk to her parents about it later. Before leaving the table, Yin gave Yang a death stare. Today, Yin arrived at the office and didn't see Shane anywhere. She asked around and found out that he was sick, and today was also his birthday. Being sick on your birthday was really disappointing. Everyone at the company fought for leave to go visit Shane, but of course Yin didn't agree. Because if everyone went, who would do the work? Yin called Mint into her private office to ask her about her visit to Yin's house yesterday. Yin realized through what Mint said that Ray really cared about her a lot, and she also realized that Yang was in cahoots with Mint in this matter. Regarding Shane, Yin reminded Mint that she didn't need to visit him because she would go herself. Yin's way of speaking was like Yang, asserting her ownership of Shane to Mint. After work, Yin went to Shane's place to check on him. She took care of him, from feeding him to giving him fever medicine. From afternoon to evening, she stayed at Shane's house to see if his condition was improving. She touched his forehead to check his temperature, and then he took the opportunity to hug her. This was the motivation he needed to get better. Yin made an excuse to go out and get fever medicine and dinner for him. A little while later, she came in with a birthday cake. Shane was incredibly surprised and happy, because he thought he would be alone for his birthday this year. But luckily, Yin was there. At this point, Yin brought up their love contract. She asked Shane what he intended to do when the 3-month contract ended. Shane replied that the contract was just a formality for him. He truly loved her, and whether it existed or not, he would always love her. The two of them fell into a quiet moment for a while, and then Shane leaned in and kissed Yin. They stayed close to each other all night. Perhaps this was the most memorable birthday Shane had ever had. The next morning, at Ray's house, Ray received a call from his assistant. She informed him that the person he had asked her to investigate, who helped We Design negotiate, was Mr. Satit from C Company. After hearing this information, Ray wondered what Satit had to do with We Design. He decided to go see Yin to ask her about this. At Yin's house, Yin was dressed up and looking beautiful, getting ready to go to Shane's place. But as soon as she stepped out of her door, she met Ray coming over. She had no choice but to stay and invite Ray into her house. Ray told Yin that the success of her company's project bid wasn't actually due to his negotiation but to State Company. He asked her if she knew anyone at Company because they had been so helpful. Yin remembered Shane's stepmother she had met at the mall the other day, Pin, who worked for State Company. But that was just Yin's thought. She didn't reveal to Ray that the person who actually helped We Design negotiate was someone Shane knew. She hid the current relationship between her and Shane. After finishing his business, Ray asked Yin's parents for permission to leave. Her parents told him to stay for lunch, and he agreed since he was free today. Yin, on the other hand, couldn't. She had to go see her young hubby. Arriving at Shane's house, Shane was snuggled in Yin's arms, acting spoiled. Being sick definitely had its perks, like being lovingly taken care of by his girlfriend and getting to be spoiled all day. Yin told Shane that he hadn't been to work for a week. Was he planning on quitting his job? She teased him, saying that if he kept taking sick leave, she might have to have lunch with Ray. Furthermore, her best friend's wedding was this weekend, and he wouldn't be able to go if he was still sick. Hearing Ray's name, Shane immediately got well. He didn't want his girlfriend going out with another man. As for Sa's wedding, Yin's best friend, he would definitely go with her. While the two sisters were catching up, Yang came to Shane's place looking for him. Yin quickly found a place to hide. Shane went out to meet Yang. Yang smelled a familiar perfume and noticed Shane's current awkward and secretive behavior, making him suspect that Shane was hiding someone in the house and didn't want Yang to know. Shane tried to stop Yang and change the subject, asking him why he had come to see him. Yang simply came to ask Shane about his scholarship, to see what he had decided. Shane said that he would find Yang at school another day. Right now, he was sick and didn't have the energy. After saying that, he unceremoniously sent Yang away. Shane went back inside to talk to Yin. It seemed he didn't like having to hide his love anymore, always sneaking around like he was doing something illegal. Shane told Yin to make their relationship public with Yang. Yin stopped him, saying that she wasn't really ready yet. They should make it public at Sa's wedding. Meanwhile, the employees at We Design were having drinks together, but Yin and Shane weren't there. Mint looked very sad because Yin had scolded her about her design earlier that day. Her colleagues advised Mint not to be too upset because Yin was strict but only wanted what was best for Mint. At this time, Yang happened to pass by their table, so he joined their drinking session. After the drinking session ended, everyone left except for Yang and Mint. Mint was very drunk. She asked Yang if he could help her fix her design. After saying that, she passed out on his shoulder due to the overwhelming drunkenness. Yang looked at Mint's drunken face, thinking it was really cute. He then picked up Mint's iPad and started writing down directions for her to make revisions. The next day, Mint opened her iPad at the office and saw all the notes that Yang had made for her. She started working, focusing until late in the evening. At this time, only Shane and Mint were left outside. Shane received a text message from Yin, telling him that she would be leaving a bit early today. After reading Yin's message, Shane started packing his things to go home. But Yin came out and asked him to stay and help Mint revise her design. He tried to explain that he had urgent matters to take care of, but Yin knew that the urgent matter he was talking about was going home with her. She didn't allow Shane to leave and told him to stay and help Mint. Shane reluctantly accepted. After finishing work, Shane took Mint to Ray's house. Mint invited him to stay for dinner before going home, which Shane tried to decline, but couldn't. During dinner, Shane was sitting across from his rival, the man who was pursuing Yin. Hearing Ray constantly mention Yin's name made Shane feel a bit awkward. He quickly finished his meal and excused himself to leave. After Shane left, Mint told Ray that she brought Shane over not to introduce him, but to show him that this was Yin's boyfriend. Mint also told him about what she had seen at the company, that the two of them shared a very different kind of look. After hearing this, Ray still wasn't discouraged. He still had a chance to pursue Yin, because according to what Yin had confided in him, she wasn't really sure if she wanted to be serious about the relationship. On the day of Sa's wedding, Yin and Shane walked into the party hand in hand. On the stage, the MC introduced the host of the party as Ray. Ray walked out, leaving Yin sitting in the audience completely shocked. She didn't expect him to be at the party, and moreover he was the groom's best friend. Hearing Ray's words, Yin clapped and laughed happily. Shane, sitting next to her, saw her laughing at another man, so he got angry and went outside. After some wedding formalities, it was time for the bouquet toss. This time, the bride didn't throw the bouquet, but instead gave it to her best friend. At this moment, Ray, seeing Yin sitting alone, came and sat right next to her, in the spot where Shane had been sitting earlier. The bride gave the wedding bouquet to Yin, and everyone moved closer together to take a picture. Yin felt a little uncomfortable, because Ray was next to her, instead of her young lover. But because she didn't want to ruin the happy atmosphere, she went along with it and took the picture. Right at this moment, Shane walked in holding 2 glasses of water. Seeing Yin happily with Ray, he just walked over and gently placed a glass in front of each of them. Everyone told Shane to come take a picture, but he refused. Ray asked him to take a picture using his camera, but he also refused, saying that he didn't like taking pictures, and that there were plenty of photographers here. After saying that, he left the party. After the party ended, Yin went to find Shane. At this time, he was still brooding over the text messages from the employees at the company. They had seen the picture of Yin and Ray together at her best friend's wedding and were gossiping that Yin and Ray were dating. After reading these messages, Shane felt extremely uncomfortable. He showed the messages to Yin, saying that if they were in love, at least her employees should know about it. He didn't feel comfortable with his girlfriend constantly being mistaken as dating someone else. Yin told Shane that the previous incident was just a misunderstanding, and she promised to be more careful in the future so it wouldn't happen again. Currently, she didn't feel embarrassed or ashamed to be Shane's girlfriend, but she just needed more time to think about how to tell everyone so they could accept this love. Shane reluctantly accepted her words, but he made a suggestion that if going public with her friends and family was too difficult, then they should go public with his friends first. At a coffee shop, Mint had something she wanted to tell Yang. She mustered the courage to tell him, even though it was very hard for him to believe. Mint said that Yin's boyfriend was Shane, and it seemed that this time, they were really serious with each other. After hearing this news, Yang cursed under his breath, and quickly went to find Yin to ask her about it. Arriving home, Yang asked Yin why she didn't bring her boyfriend home to meet her family. Yang intentionally prodded her, saying that perhaps her boyfriend was much younger than her, which was why she was hiding him. Before he could continue, Yin cut him off and said that if he dared to gossip about this with their mother, she would call all the girls Yang had dumped to come and find him. Since Yin wouldn't admit it, Yang would go find Shane. Yang prepared a delicious hot pot to invite Shane over. Yang asked Shane why he went to his best friend's wedding with Yin, and what did he went as? Seeing that Yang seemed to be asking too many questions, Shane decided to take a picture and send it to Yin, telling her that he would make their relationship public with Yang first. As soon as Yin received the message, she immediately rushed to Yang's house. Yang asked her about Shane's presence at her best friend's wedding. Yin hurriedly explained that it was just for work. She had brought Shane along to expand his network. The more she explained, the more complicated it became, so Yin changed the subject, saying that it was late and Shane should go home and rest. The next morning, Yin and Shane went to his basketball practice, which was also to make Yin public to his friends. Shane introduced Yin to all of his friends and told her to sit on the bench and watch him play basketball. The outing was very fun, and after playing basketball, Yin even treated Shane's friends to a big lunch. They enthusiastically thanked Yin and asked if she was treating them like this to send Shane off to study abroad in Sweden. Hearing the words, "study abroad," Yin froze for 5 seconds. After Shane's friends left, she directly asked him what was going on. Shane explained that because he hadn't decided whether he would study abroad or not, he hadn't told her yet. Yin was very angry with him because he hadn't said anything about such an important matter. His friends knew, but she didn't, and she felt like she wasn't important to him. Yin angrily left first. Yang and Mint were strolling through the mall when Mint received a call from Ray, telling her that he was at Yin's house. So Mint and Yang returned to have lunch with Yang's family. Everyone was happy during the meal, except for Yin, who was very uncomfortable. She was still angry after her fight with Shane. He called her, but she turned off her phone. After lunch, Yang saw Mint and her uncle home. Back at the house, Yin's mother was urging her about marriage. She told Yin that Ray was such a good man, so why not try dating him? Yin told her mother that she already had a boyfriend, but she needed more time before bringing him home to meet them. As for dating Ray, that would never happen. They were just friends or partners. Meanwhile, Shane was trying to contact Yin, but she didn't respond. His phone then received a notification about a new post from Mint. A picture taken at the Yin family's dinner table. Since Yin wasn't answering his calls, he would go to her house to find her. Yin was sitting in her room when she suddenly heard a noise outside her window. She pulled back the curtains and saw that Shane had appeared out of nowhere. He told Yin that he still hadn't made a final decision about the scholarship. He asked her what she thought about it and if she could give him some advice. Yin couldn't give him any advice because she didn't know anything about his future plans. He had never shared those things with her. Shane was still unsure what to do because he both wanted to study abroad and stay with Yin. Yin told him that if he really decided to go study abroad, they could still have a long-distance relationship, and if that relationship didn't work out, then they would break up. As soon as she mentioned the words, break up, Shane disagreed. He asked Yin if they could get married before he went to study abroad. Yin explained to him that this was completely impossible because they had only known each other for less than 3 months. Moreover, he hadn't met her family, and she still didn't fully understand what kind of person he was. How could they get married like this? Shane asked her one last question. If he went to study abroad, would she wait for him? Yin's past hurts made it impossible for her to promise anyone about waiting for them. Yin advised Shane to think carefully about this study abroad opportunity because his future was ahead of him, and he should make the right decision. The next morning, in Yang's room, Yang was urging Shane about studying abroad, telling him to quickly prepare his documents. Shane still hadn't decided whether to go or not. Yang advised Shane not to miss this opportunity because it was his future, and he shouldn't lose it just because of the person he loved. After their conversation, Shane went to the office, where Yin also had something she wanted to say to him. Yin talked about their 3-month contract having ended and asked if Shane had thought about anything yet. Shane didn't want to mention it because he wanted to be with her for longer than 3 months, but Yin said that she had made a decision about their relationship. She said that their relationship should end here, and it was time to break up. Yin said that the reason for breaking up with Shane was because he had hidden things from her 3 times. The first time was the night she was drunk, the second was his family background, and the last was that he was going to study abroad in Sweden. The last time was the most disappointing for Yin. Shane said that if he gave up studying abroad now, could they date? Yin found this ridiculous, asking him that if he threw away his future for her, what would their future be like? Shane replied that his future was her, dating her, getting married, and having kids with her. That was all he wanted in the future. Yin told him not to do such meaningless things. He had worked so hard in the past years to win the scholarship and shouldn't throw it away for love. Currently, the age gap between them was too large, and he had his whole future ahead of him. He shouldn't keep pursuing a love that had no future. Shane really wanted to prove to her that he truly loved her and wanted to be serious with her. Yin knew that breaking up would hurt Shane and even herself, but for his future, she needed to temporarily put aside their love so that he could focus on his future. Yin picked up the phone and called her assistant to come in and ask about the upcoming meeting, but there was no meeting at all. She was doing this on purpose to make Shane leave. After everyone had left, Yin revealed that all women are weak when they break up with their loved ones. She had a hard time making the decision she made today. Tears streamed down her face. In the evening, after work, Yin returned home with a sad face. Just by glancing at her expression, her parents could tell she had encountered a sad event. Yin confided in her parents that she had just broken up with her boyfriend. Seeing Yin's vulnerable side, her parents comforted her, saying that life was like that. There would be meetings and partings, but she shouldn't be too sad, because she would soon find the right person for herself. Meanwhile, Shane kept calling Yin, but she didn't answer. He helplessly slumped his face on the table when his phone suddenly had a notification. Shane thought it was a message from Yin, but he was disappointed. The message was from Pin, telling him that his scholarship application was all done. So, the day Shane left to study abroad would not be far off. The next morning, Mint's 2 best friends arrived at class. There, 2 girls in the class were gossiping about the relationship between Yang and Mint. The 2 girls whispered that Mint was a flirt, having just failed to confess to Shane, and was already flirting with Yang. Seeing her friend being unfairly slandered, Mint's best friend couldn't take it and stepped in to argue with the 2 girls. They argued back and forth when Yang entered the classroom and stopped them. He told them that after class, they had to go to his office to explain the fight. After class, Mint's 2 best friends went to Yang's office to explain. Her friend said that she had argued with the 2 girls because she didn't want Mint to be slandered. That friend also wanted to ask Yang about him and Mint being at the bar together and her leaning on him. Yang felt a bit guilty and gave a flimsy explanation that Mint was too drunk at the time and had fallen on him, and there was no romantic relationship between them. 2 days passed, and Shane still didn't come to the office. Yin anxiously asked Mint if she knew what Shane was doing and why he wasn't at work. Mint wasn't close to Shane, so she didn't know what was going on with him. After saying that, Mint excused herself. At this moment, Yin received a phone call from Shane but didn't pick up. She was clearly concerned and worried about him. But when he called, she didn't dare face him. Meanwhile, Shane went to Yang's office to give him his scholarship application. Yang asked Shane about what was going on between him and Yin. Shane confided in Yang that he had broken up with Yin, and he would be leaving to study abroad next week. He was leaving early, so he would have time to get used to the environment over there, and to forget the pain of breaking up with Yin. After talking to Yang, he walked around the school, recalling old memories of this place. Shane remembered the first time he met Yin in the classroom. He was impressed by her maturity and confidence, and perhaps it was from that first meeting that he had the idea to join Yin's company. The next morning, Pin and Shane met at a coffee shop, so Pin could give him his passport and finalize the arrangements for his study abroad trip. Inside the bag, there was also a bank card, but Shane refused to accept it. Shane said that he would be self-sufficient and find a job to support himself while abroad. Pin asked him if he had informed his father about this, and Shane said that it wasn't necessary. Perhaps the relationship between Shane and his father wasn't very good. Pin continued to ask if he had told Yin about his real identity. Shane sadly replied that they had already broken up anyway, and maybe in Yin's eyes, he wasn't even a fraction of what Ray was. After that, Shane went to We Design to work his last few days, before leaving to study abroad. He heard voices inside the meeting room. He opened the door and walked in. Yin and Shane looked at each other with distant expressions. Yin asked him if he had any questions about this collaboration between We Design and Lima. The collaboration between these two companies was that Lima would provide capital and expand the market for We Design, while We Design would specialize in interior design. Shane asked a critical question. Would the collaboration between the two companies change the personnel of the company? Yin knew that Shane was intentionally asking this because he was jealous of Ray, because Ray was the director of Lima and the main partner in this collaboration. So, Yin invited Ray to explain this collaboration to all the employees in the company. Ray told everyone that this collaboration wouldn't disrupt or shuffle any employee positions at We Design. This decision was entirely up to We Design. His company was only providing investment capital and marketing for We Design. Clearly, Ray was doing all of this to help the company, and was biased towards Yin. Shane fully recognized this. After listening to Ray explain the collaboration between the two companies, Shane asked Ray if his actions were related to a personal issue between him and Yin. Ray didn't deny it, and replied that his personal issue definitely existed, but it was between him and Yin, and it had nothing to do with Shane. Hearing this, Shane was extremely annoyed, but couldn't argue because no one knew about his relationship with Yin, and they had already gone their separate ways. He had no right to interfere in Yin's personal life. The meeting ended, and Shane angrily left, packing up his belongings at his desk before leaving. In her office, Yin received a phone call from her mother, who told her that her father had gone missing. After hearing this information, Yin burst into tears. At this moment, Ray came in and asked her what had happened. Yin told him that her father had gone missing. Ray was also extremely worried about Yin's father, and went home with her to look for him. Meanwhile, Shane sat alone in his room, remembering the sweet moments he had shared with Yin. They had gone through so many ups and downs together, but in the end, they couldn't be together. At Yin's house, she and Ray were asking her mother where her father had gone. Her mother said that he had gone out to buy mangoes in the morning, but hadn't returned yet. She went to the market to ask people, and they said that he had gone to the main road. Her mother also contacted him, but didn't receive a response. Ray, seeing how distraught things were, said that maybe his phone had run out of battery. He would go with Yin to the main road to ask people if anyone had seen him. Meanwhile, Yin's father was still wandering the streets. Old age had made him forgetful, and he couldn't even remember how to get home. He kept asking people on the street for help to turn on his phone, but people avoided him, thinking he was a strange, creepy man, and didn't help him. After searching all afternoon, Yin and Ray still couldn't find any trace of her father. They returned home, and Ray sat in the living room, calling the police to ask for help. Ray also decided to stay at Yin's house that night, because there were no other men at home. Her father was missing, and Yang was traveling abroad. After being home for a while, Yin still couldn't be at peace, because they still hadn't found her father. So, she convinced Ray to go out and look for him again. When they arrived, Ray got out of the car and went in alone, leaving Yin in the car for safety. But this area was a slum, and it was unlikely that her father would ever go there. In the car, Yin received a message from Shane. In the message, Shane apologized to her, saying that he was sorry for always acting like a child, sorry for not understanding her feelings and what she needed, and sorry for not being good enough during the past 3 months. The last sentence of the message asked Yin if there was even a moment during the past 3 months when she had ever loved him. Yin was moved by Shane's apologies. She was about to reply to him when Ray opened the car door and informed her that he hadn't found her father there. Yin didn't have a chance to send anything to Shane. Tonight was also the night Shane was flying abroad to study. He wanted to send those last apologies to Yin, hoping that there might be a small chance of making up with her, but he didn't receive any response. Disappointed, Shane pulled his suitcase and left his apartment. Meanwhile, Yin and Ray returned home to rest so they could continue looking for her father early the next morning. Ray asked Yin's mother if there was any place that her father had liked to visit. After thinking back, her mother remembered that he had always loved the place where he was born and grew up. She told Yin to get the photo album for Ray to look at. Ray received the information and pictures of the place that her father liked, and he decided that tomorrow he would go there to see if her father was there. For now, he advised Yin and her mother to rest to take care of their health. The next morning, Ray and Yin, holding a picture of the building that her father loved, went around asking people about it. Luckily, a woman who had lived there for a long time recognized it and said that the old building had been demolished and replaced by this apartment building. Ray and Yin searched that area, but she said that the building had changed so much, becoming a completely different apartment building, that perhaps even her father wouldn't recognize it. So she and Ray went back, but right after they left, her father appeared at that very apartment building. Unfortunately, they didn't run into each other. Yin and Ray returned home to tell her mother. From the time her father had gone missing, her mother had been restless, because she had a bad feeling that something was going to happen. Yin was also very worried, but she comforted her mother, saying that her father would be fine, and that she and Ray would try their best to find him as soon as possible. That evening, Ray was outside talking on the phone, when the person on the other line informed him that they had found a man's body at the park lake. Yin walked by and overheard. She asked him what was wrong. Ray hesitated for a long time before telling her the truth, because he was afraid that she would be shocked by the news. Yin burst into tears, and Ray hugged her to comfort her. The two comforted each other, but there was another person standing in the corner who was no less sad. He was standing in the rain to go to Yin's house to say his final goodbye, but he witnessed the intimacy between Yin and Ray. He was disappointed, and tears streamed down his face. So he had failed, and there was nothing to regret anymore. It was time for him to let go. Ray and Yin went to the scene where the man's body had been found. They didn't tell her mother about this news. They arrived at the scene. Standing by the lake, Yin saw her father's shirt and became even more certain that the body was her father's. She cried out in pain, calling for her father repeatedly. Before long, her father appeared beside her. It was definitely her father, not a ghost. The body of the man who had drowned was not her father, and the shirt was just something her father had dropped. Seeing her father appear right before her eyes, she hugged him tightly. Yin thought that her father wouldn't be with her anymore, but luckily he was okay. Ray and Yin took her father home. Her mother was overjoyed that her father had returned. All her worries vanished when she saw her father in real life. Yin had to thank Ray so much for his enthusiastic support in helping her find her father. From then on, her mother never took her eyes off her father. Wherever he went, her mother followed him, never leaving him for a moment. The next day at the office, Yin and Ray went to We Design to inform the employees that the collaboration between the two companies would begin this week. The company's personnel would not change, and everyone's salary would increase based on their ability. The employees were very happy after hearing that. After finishing their discussion about work, an employee asked Yin what was going on between her and Ray. They greatly supported the couple, a talented man and a beautiful woman. This time, Yin announced to everyone that she and Ray were officially dating. The employees were happy for Yin. So, all of Shane's efforts had gone to waste. He had pursued Yin so much, but she had never publicly acknowledged him to all the employees like this. Now, Yin was holding hands with Ray. The next day, Yang returned home from his business trip in France. As soon as he walked in the door, he was overjoyed to see his father and hugged him. He was so happy that his father was okay. His mother asked Yang if he had anything to do today, and he said that he needed to go to school for some business. Later, at the gate, Mint arrived at Yang's house with a basket of fruit. She sent her regards to Yang's father. Seeing Mint, his mother asked Yang if he still needed to go to school, and he immediately changed his tune, saying that that work could be done later, and being with someone he liked was his top priority. The two of them went to a coffee shop together on a date. They both liked each other, but were too shy to say it. They were happy together. Later, Mint went to the bathroom, while Yang stayed at the table. At this moment, the two girls who had gossiped about Mint the other day appeared. The two girls went to Yang to greet him. When Mint came out of the bathroom and saw Yang talking with his students, she worried that if she sat with Yang, it would negatively affect him and that people would gossip about the teacher-student relationship. Mint quickly left to avoid being seen by others. At the company, Opal saw Champ and Sandy close together, and she guessed that there was definitely something going on between them. Opal tried to strike up a conversation with Sandy, but Sandy completely ignored Opal. All she was interested in was Champ, who was sitting across from her. The two of them looked at each other with loving eyes. Opal was confused by their behavior. In Yin's office, Ray came to pick her up for lunch. He brought her pastries. However, Yin didn't seem to pay him much attention. The flowers he had given her that morning were still lying neglected in the corner of the room. Her attitude towards Ray was very perfunctory, and not as happy as when she was with the intern, Shane. Ray took her to lunch and then drove her home. In the car, he tried to give her a kiss, but as their lips were about to touch, Yin turned away, saying that it was going too far. Ray wasn't upset or angry. He knew he needed more time to win her heart. He completely respected her decision. The next day at the office, Opal purposely brought coffee to Champ, trying to see if anyone would get jealous. As expected, Sandy was so jealous that her eyes were practically bulging. But since they were at the company, she couldn't do anything about it. That evening, during a family dinner, Yang's mother told him that she wished he would fall in love soon, now that he wasn't young anymore. She warned him that whoever he loved, he shouldn't love someone too young. She wouldn't accept a 10-year age difference. This made Yang a bit uneasy because the person he was pursuing was his student, and his mother's words made him a little sad. At school, Yang was being pressured by the principal. The principal called Yang into his office to ask about someone sending pictures of Yang and Mint on a date at a coffee shop. Yang explained that there was no romantic relationship between him and Mint and that they were just close friends. Yang's sister was dating Mint's uncle, so he and Mint often talked with each other. Yang didn't dare to make his relationship with Mint public because it would affect the reputation of the university where he taught. At this moment, Yang received a text message from Mint, inviting him for coffee. But it seemed that after the principal's inquiries, he wasn't in a good mood. Yang turned down Mint and said that he was busy and couldn't go with her. The next day in the classroom, Mint's best friends and the two gossipy girls were arguing about the relationship between Yang and Mint again. This time, Mint stepped in and confronted the two girls. Mint said that during the past 2 months, she wasn't at school was because she had been doing an internship to hone her skills. Not like some people who spend all their time gossiping about others. She told the two girls that they should spend that time developing their brains instead of interfering with other people's business. The two girls were speechless and felt ashamed that their friends were filming them and talking about them. After dealing with the two gossipy girls, Mint and her two best friends went to a cafe to chat. Mint's two friends praised her, saying that she was so cool that day, shutting those two gossipy girls up. At this moment, Mint also told her best friend that her close male friend had liked her for a long time. Her friend was shocked to hear this, not expecting that the person she had been hanging out with all this time liked her. The male friend also took this opportunity to confess to her, saying that he had actually liked her since freshman orientation. But he was afraid that if he said it back then, he wouldn't even have the chance to be her friend, let alone a romantic partner. So, he had kept his one-sided love until now. Her friend accepted his confession. Mint saw her two best friends happy and in love with each other, leaving only her with a difficult love life. Thinking about this, Mint knew she had to do something to find love for herself. She went to Yang's house. Mint confessed to Yang, but only received silence in return. She thought she had been deluding herself about this relationship. Mint turned around to leave when Yang pulled her back and kissed her. They thought the kiss would last a long time, but it was interrupted by Yang's mother. The two separated. His mother didn't approve of Yang dating Mint because she was Ray's niece, and Ray was currently dating Yin. If Yang didn't break up with Mint, she would force him to break up. But of course, Yang refused, and he was determined to protect his love to the end. He disobeyed his mother and led Mint outside for a walk. So from that day on, Mint and Yang continued their secret dates. They were very happy and enjoyed their time together. Today, the two of them had a date at a coffee shop. Yang was happy when suddenly Opal saw Mint and cheerfully chatted with Mint. Yang, seeing the appearance of someone he knew, made an excuse to go to the restroom and quickly left. Opal had ruined their sweet date. At the company, Yin's boss informed her that the collaboration between her company and Lima would be temporarily postponed because Yang had a new proposal from Say's company. Such company planned to acquire We Design. Yin was extremely worried that this new partner might change all the plans that Lima and We Design had planned. Ray told her not to worry too much because he knew Chairman Sadat of Sate Company. If anything happened, he would help her as much as possible. He asked her to go to lunch, but Yin declined because she needed to go to her brother's house to ask about some important matters. Ever since his fight with his mother, Yang hadn't gone home. He was staying at his apartment. His mother had texted and called him, but he didn't answer. Yin saw the tense situation between the two of them, but when she asked, neither of them would tell her what happened. Yin went to Yang's house and asked him why he was acting like a child toward their mother. Yang angrily said, "What does being an adult even mean? Do I have to live the way you want to be an adult?" Yang also didn't want to talk to her anymore. Yin went home and saw her father sitting in front of the ancestral altar, confiding in it. Her father said that he had been very forgetful lately, forgetting more and more each day. He was afraid that he would forget all of his loved ones. He was afraid that would happen, and he started crying. Yin was also very emotional, seeing her father like this. The next day was the meeting between S Company and We Design. Ray was also present to support Yin. Chairman Sadat came today to meet Yin and to introduce the representative from Sate Company, who would assess whether We Design was capable enough to merge with Street. And the representative was none other than Shane. As soon as they saw Shane, both Yin and Ray froze. They didn't understand what was going on. It turned out that Shane was the chairman's son. It turned out that Shane had decided to put aside his study abroad plans 2 months earlier. He returned his application and joined his father's company. Shane and his father had a conflict from the past. The day Shane's mother died, his father was still engrossed in his work. So Shane was very angry with his father. Since then, he hadn't cared about his father and had even changed his last name to his mother's. Chairman Sadat, knowing that Shane had stayed this time for love, wanted to help him. He wanted to support Shane in fighting against all the men in the world to win the love of his life. After the meeting, only Yin and Shane were left in the room. As Yin was about to leave, Shane stopped her. Yin told him to let go because everything between them was over and he had no right to her anymore. Shane still said that he loved her, but the fact that he had repeatedly hidden his identity from Yin made her no longer trust him. Yin pushed his hand away and returned to her office. She was so strong on the outside, but when she was alone, Yin was an extremely vulnerable woman. Yin thought she could forget Shane, but in her heart, she always had a place for him. Yin burst into tears because she didn't know how she should face Shane now, and whether Shane would become her boss after this collaboration. The next day, at the coffee shop, Mint and Yang were chatting when Opal appeared again. But this time, Yang didn't run away. He directly announced that Mint was his girlfriend. Mint didn't understand why Yang was acting like this, so she angrily left. Yang chased after her and stopped her. Yang said that their love wasn't wrong, and there was no need to hide it. Moreover, he had now quit his job as a lecturer at the university, so no one would gossip about the teacher-student relationship. Mint was very moved by his actions, but she didn't want to be selfish and ruin Yang's future just for love. Mint broke up with Yang because she thought it would be better than him giving up his job. From that day on, Yang kept contacting Mint, but he didn't receive any response. Even though she was the one who broke up with him, Mint was also very sad, crying uncontrollably, and not knowing how to face this situation anymore. After thinking for many days, Yang realized what he should do with his mother. He decided to go back and talk to her. When his mother saw Yang, she rushed to hug him and apologize. She knew she had been too selfish in preventing Yang's love. Yang, on the other hand, realized that he had been too hot-headed and had acted inappropriately towards his mother. The two of them hugged each other and apologized. So, through this, mother and son understood each other better and learned how to appreciate each other more. In the evening by the riverbank, Yin and Ray were happily playing with Cupid, their dog. While petting Cupid, Yin noticed a proposal ring on its collar. It turned out that Ray was using this method to propose to her. Since the dog was the reason the two of them had met, Ray knelt down and asked her if she would marry him. Yin thought for a moment and then gave her hand to Ray, implying that she accepted. Ray happily put the engagement ring on her finger. Finally, Ray's sincerity had earned him Yin's nod of approval. The next day at the company, Shane, now in the position of ST's representative, would be staying at We Design to do his inspection. He asked Yin to find the personnel documents from all previous years so that he could directly review them. Yin told her subordinates to find the documents for her. Shane then said that he wanted to work directly with the company's director, not the employees. Shane also asked We Design to prepare a private office for him, and asked Yin to quickly prepare him a cup of coffee, because only Yin knew what he liked. A little while later, in Shane's private office, he and Yin were discussing things. Shane demanded that Yin find the oldest documents of We Design for him. It was clear that he was intentionally making things difficult for her. At this moment, Ray opened the door and came in to politely greet Shane. Shane noticed that Ray seemed very close to Yin. He told Ray that this was a workplace, so they should try to maintain some professionalism. After hearing Shane's words, Ray just smiled, took Yin's hand, and left. Outside, Opal, along with Sandy and Champ, were chatting. Opal suggested that the two of them go out partying that evening, but both of them declined, citing family matters. Opal sensed that something was off, so she decided to follow the two of them after work. As expected, Champ and Sandy were in love. They hugged each other tightly and then left together in the same car. Opal was happy that she had discovered another new couple in the company. The next day at a coffee shop, Shane's father told him that he would assign an assistant to support him. That person was Vivi, who was very intelligent and had a great memory. Shane and Vivi were talking when Shane's eyes accidentally caught Yin and Ray, who were also there for a meeting with a partner. Seeing them being so affectionate, Shane was very jealous. So, he told Vivi to come with him to that table. Vivi linked arms with him and walked to Yin's table. He greeted the partner first, and then introduced Vivi as his new secretary, with the intention of making Yin jealous. But Yin didn't show any emotion. Instead, she deliberately brushed her hair back to reveal the ring on her pinky finger for Shane to see. In the evening when Shane got home, he couldn't stop thinking about that engagement ring. The next day, Ray and Yin went to a billiards hall with a business partner. Everything would have been fine if Shane hadn't shown up. He came here with the intention of disrupting their meeting. Shane made a deal with Ray that they would play a game. If Ray lost, he would have to promise that his company would no longer have anything to do with We Design. And if Shane lost, he would withdraw from the collaboration between Stay and We. The two of them started the game, and as a result, Ray lost to Shane. After Shane left, the partner who had played billiards with Ray said that he had never made a mistake like that before, wondering why Ray had messed up so much in his game with Shane. Hearing this, Ray just smiled without replying, while Yin was very confused. At a bar, Champ, Sandy, and Opal were eating together. Opal asked if the two of them were dating, but they refused to admit it. So, Opal came up with a plan to provoke Sandy by kissing Champ. As expected, it worked. Seeing this, Sandy immediately stepped in to stop Opal. Champ also admitted that they had been dating for a few months. The next day, in Shane's private office, he and Yin were discussing their upcoming work. After they finished, Yin told him that if he had any more ideas, he could talk to Champ instead of her. When they had a final plan, he could tell her later. Shane could clearly see that Yin was intentionally avoiding him. She was finding every way to avoid him, which made him extremely uncomfortable and angry. He blurted out that if she couldn't do it, then she should quit her job. Hearing this, Yin also got angry and left. He had really gone too far with her. Realizing that his words had been too much, Shane immediately chased after her and stopped her. He explained that he didn't mean what he said. He also confessed to her that he was very uncomfortable with her constantly avoiding him. Was there no chance for them anymore? Yin raised her pinky finger and affirmed to him that she had made her own choice. He should go find someone new, and there would no longer be any relationship between them other than work. A few days later, Yin and Ray went to try on wedding dresses. Since Yin was a simple person, she wanted a simple wedding dress. But when she tried on a wedding dress that she liked, Ray didn't like it. He asked if there was anything more elaborate. Yin was a little annoyed by his words, but quickly hid it and agreed to try on the elaborate wedding dress that he liked. Looking at Yin, who was beautiful in the elaborate dress, Ray didn't even ask her if she liked it and had already decided to buy it. Yin didn't argue with him. She told him to go home first, because she wanted to stay there for a while and talk to her best friend. After Ray left, Yin and Sa drank until they were completely drunk. Yin poured out all of her frustration with Ray to Sa. Yin's best friend had witnessed Yin's love when she was with Shane, so she knew who made Yin happy. Therefore, she decided to call Shane to take the drunk Yin home. When Yin saw Shane, she refused him, not wanting him to take her home. Shane tried to persuade Yin, but it was useless. Yin told him to let her choose what she wanted, and not force her to do what anyone else wanted. Shane replied that he had always let Yin do what she wanted. Even this time, if Yin said that she loved Ray and was truly happy with him, then he would leave. Yin affirmed that she was really happy and wanted to marry Ray. Shane was helpless and tearful at this. Were all of his efforts really nothing to Yin? Shane turned around and left. As soon as he left, Yin returned to her true self. She didn't really want to hurt Shane that much. At this moment, Yin burst into tears and leaned on her best friend. After leaving, Shane went to a bar and asked Ray to meet him. He asked Ray when he was going to give Yin back to him, because he could sense that Yin was only pretending to be happy with Ray. and didn't actually love him. Ray told him that he must have had some misunderstanding. The two of them had been very happy together. He would never let go of Yin like Shane had. So, after many days of preparation, the wedding day finally arrived for Ray and Yin. Mr. Sadat saw that his son was still burying himself in work and had no intention of attending Yin's wedding. He approached Shane and advised him to go, because if he didn't, he would regret it for the rest of his life. At the wedding hall, Yin's parents and younger brother, Yang, arrived. Seeing Yang keep looking at Mint's back, his mother told him to take their father to eat on the other side, while she went to talk to Mint. Mint thought that Yang's mother was going to reconcile Yang and her, but instead, she just thanked Mint for making the right choice to break up with Yang. His mother said that she really considered Mint as family, her own daughter. So it was very difficult for her to accept her son loving someone in the family like that. Mint forced a smile. After a while of thinking, Shane decided to go to the wedding with his father and Pin. The three of them went to congratulate Ray first. Attending the wedding of someone he still loved so much was obviously not easy. Shane struggled to say the words, "I wish you happiness," to Ray. Later, the wedding ceremony officially began. Yin's father led his beautiful daughter down the aisle. Despite it being her happy day, Yin didn't feel excited or happy at all. During the ceremony, when the officiant was saying the vows, Yin fell into a long silence. Then, she looked down at Shane in the crowd below. She thought about the happy months they had spent together. She remembered Shane's words, asking her if she was truly happy with Ray. Back in reality, Ray told the officiant that he didn't think he could vow to be Yin's husband. After saying this, he left the wedding hall. Yin's family chased after him, asking why he was doing this to Yin. At this point, Ray opened his heart and said that he didn't want the two people he loved the most to suffer. First was Yin. He could sense that she didn't love him during the past time together, and that the person she loved was Shane. Yin was just trying to pretend to be happy to please her parents. Second was Mint, his niece, who loved Yang very much but was also being prevented by Yang's family. So, he hoped that after this, Yang's mother would have a different view on their love. After hearing Ray's heartfelt words, Yin's mother no longer blamed him. Instead, she thanked him for understanding her two children so much. So the wedding was cancelled. 3 months later, at the company, Champ confessed to Sandy, and the couple Mint and Yang reconciled after Ray's help. Now, they could confidently go public, without fear of any gossip. Everyone had their own happiness, except for Yin, who was still adrift. After canceling her wedding with Ray, she was still working alone. But when she looked at a picture of herself with Shane, Yin missed him. Perhaps the person she always loved was him. Yin thought it was time to take control of her love life. Yin took the text message Shane had sent her before, asking her if she had ever loved him, and replied. So after 3 months, Yin was finally brave enough to say the truth, that she had been loving him every single day. After receiving Yin's text message, Shane replied with a picture of him standing behind her. When Yin turned around, she saw that Shane had appeared out of nowhere. So, after so many ups and downs, and so much time, the two of them were finally back together. This was the person who truly made Yin happy, without pretense or awkwardness. Shane gave her a deep kiss. After so many days apart, he had truly been waiting for this moment for a long time. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching the movie review on our channel. See you in the next movies. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, so we have the motivation to make more movies.